Hello, everybody. Look at all those baby shrimp. Oh my gosh, this tank is doing so good. I can't believe it. This tank is doing so good. Even the baby pluckos, the plucko spawned. So let me tell you about these red Rili shrimp in here. And they're not just regular red Rili shrimp. They are a red Rili line that I have created myself. And I'll show you guys how I done that. This is an update. I've talked about this before. Everyone's always like, I want to see updates on this. So here is an update. Red Rili shrimp, mixing shrimp colors, making red Rilis. So I realize not everyone out there has dozens of tanks that have every line of shrimp and multiples of every line of shrimp that they want to keep, like I do. And I realize a lot of people just have one tank. And so the biggest question I get asked, once people realize they shouldn't really mix shrimp colors together, they want to know, so if I was to mix different shrimp colors together, what would be the best colors? And the thing I always end up going back to is reds and blue jellies. And let me explain. If you don't have a super pure red shrimp line, you're not going to get any Rilis. Now, my red line I never had a Rili shrimp thrown out of there ever. Well, if you look at the Neocaridina chart, you'll be able to see that reds and red Rilis and blue jellies are very closely related genetically. I honestly, when I mixed these reds and blue jellies, I was hoping to create red blue jellies, the one where you got the head and the rear red, and the middle is blue like a blue jelly. That's what I was hoping to make, but that didn't happen. So when I mixed these, I probably had there's probably like 700 red shrimp in here, and I put like 30 or 40 blue jellies. And even though I took all the red Rilis out, if we look real close, there's one right there in the middle of the pile. You can't see him. There he is right there. He's a lot of clear and just a little bit of red on his butt and a little bit of red on his head. So this tank is still throwing them. So after letting those 15 blue jelly or 30 blue jellies or whatever it was live with these hundreds and hundreds of red shrimp, eventually we started getting red Rilis. And look at that. Oh, that's some kind of a blue Rili. Look at that. That's cool. So after letting these blue jellies hang with these reds for about 6 months or so, maybe a little longer, I don't remember exactly, I started seeing pretty decent red Rili shrimp, and that's when I knew the time was to pull them out and try to do a red Rili line. So when I first pulled out the red Rilis that were showing up in there, I wasn't picky. I picked out every single red Rili that I could find. And the thing was, a lot of them were females that were buried. So a lot of these babies are only half red Rilis, and they have red dads. So at first, I've been doing this every so often. If you look, when they're real little like that, they're really can be hard to see. So you gotta let them get, like that one is safe to say it's not a Rili. This one, I think it is gonna be a Rili. Now at first, most of the first babies weren't Rilis, and there's a wild we can get out. And most of these are still too little to tell for sure. Because I mean, those are really, really little shrimp. So the work is really just beginning. And this process will take a long time, but I tell you what, this is going way better than I even thought. I figured I'd get a handful of them, and I figured like 80% of them would still be red. A lot of them were at first, because as I said, a lot of them were already buried, and they were in that red tank when they were buried. So what I'm trying to do now is we're going to pick out some of the ones that are big enough to know they're not red, And then as we see less and less fully red shrimp in here, then we know we're getting somewhere. And I'm really surprised at how good this project is going and thought I'd share it. So let's get some of these red guys out of here. Now maybe you can see what I mean here. These looked like they had no red at all to them. When I get them up here close, or no really to them at all, but when I get them up close, there is a little bit of really, especially in that one right there. Maybe even that one. So this is really hard to do. So I'm going to let, because those looked fully red, so let's try again. And obviously we're going to have different levels of really, like that one wouldn't be super hot. But right now, we're not like that. Same with that one. There is a hint of really to it. We're looking for the really ones right now. Like even that one, you zoom in, you look real close, and there is some really there. So this is, we gotta look for the ones that are like that. Not a little, the step up from juvenile or from peewees. When they're peewees, they're just too hard to tell. Let's see if any of these up here. That guy, you don't really have really. There's a hint of something going on in his abdomen, but he's not got enough that we can take him out. So this is the one that I was showing you guys that we said for sure wasn't red, but then you get real close to him, and there's a little hint of really going on in the abdomen. So these guys, they want to be reallys, and that's a good sign. But he's not really enough, even now. So he's going to get the ones that are full red. They're going to get recycled back into this tank. And they'll pass their genetics along and along. And eventually we'll have some kind of a messy, muddled up, really, lots of really shrimp, lots of red shrimp. This is just a fun tank. Here's another one I thought was for sure fully red. You get up close and you can kind of see there's a bit of a really in its abdomen, but might just be a crappy shrimp. Because you got to remember, essentially what we're doing, we're taking a really nice red line and making it crappier with blue jellies to try to force something out in the genetic history or share the similar genetics. And that's what we're doing. And now what we're doing is I'm not quite to perfecting it. I'm just trying to get rid of everything that's fully red. And once we get reliably like 90% red reallys, then we'll start resetting the tank and keeping only the very, very best ones to get the quality that we're after with these guys. Well, I got some of the wilds out and some of the ones that are clearly red. I'm sure I didn't get all of them, but I made a pretty good dent into it. So something promising that I've noticed, that one, I know that's an old female, it's a really, but you don't have very good really. So quickly, I've discovered that most of the shrimp I'm pulling out of here are males. And they're not really, but they have faded colors in their abdomen when you look really close, like I was showing you guys earlier. I find a good, just like every other neo line, you're culling males a lot. So that's what it looks like it's going to be. I don't think I've seen a female that wasn't a really. So that's really, really promising. So again, remember you guys, if you're trying to keep the best shrimp possible, don't mix your different neocaridina shrimp together, because you're going to have much better results if that's what you care about, of keeping your colors separated. But if you want to do this way of doing things, you can mix different colors together. As long as you keep them separated and called and choose colors that are close together, you can create unique things. Now, if you just throw a bunch of randoms together and let them breed out and breed out and breed out, you will eventually mostly end up with all wilds. I'll show you guys something unique about that in another video, because I actually am my guppy pond used to be my shrimp cull tank, where I used to throw all my shrimp culls. I've not purposely thrown a shrimp in there in years. It's been dedicated mostly to guppies, but there's always been a population of shrimp in there. And it is 90% wilds, but every once in a while you'll see, oh, there's a bright red one. Oh, there's a red Rili. Oh, there's a blue one. Oh, there's a black one. So, if you do mix them, you still got to pull out what you don't like. That's the thing with the shrimp keeping. And when you mix, you're going to get all kinds of things. But if you narrow it down to what you're after, you can have decent results. And it's going to be a lot easier if you pick stuff that's closer related. So, and eventually, when I can get some more tanks going, I want to take some of these red Rilis and mix them with blue jellies. And then we're going to try to do the blue red Rili thing again. I think that might be what I got to do to make those. So, that's all I got for today. Thank you guys for watching. Bye.